Good afternoon, staff, and welcome to our first virtual staff meeting. Just wanted to give you guys a few updates as to what's going on in Wake County, in the state, and what things will be coming very soon. And just didn't feel the need to come together in a formal staff meeting in order to share that information. We just had a very successful PD, in my opinion, this past early release. The ladies did a fabulous job, really starting to talk about MTSS and ISIL and the TIPS problem-solving model. That I think we did a wonderful job, really working through that and what that would look like, this past Friday. And there's so much more to come as we implement year one of MTSS. And so I'm excited about that and appreciate you guys for the wonderful job and the collaboration and the engagement that you showed in this work. As I said before, that structure is going to be, it's going to make a huge impact on our subgroups and what we do with all of our students moving forward. Just kind of wanted to reiterate, is this the best that we can do in regards to preparing our students for the future? Again, as I said before, when I look at these gaps, there has to be more. And I think that we have a great group of staff that can move the kids, just finding a structure, a process, in order to dig a little bit deeper and find out what our issues or what our concerns are. It's just going to take more of an effort, a team effort, to really dig a little bit deeper, to really find the answer to these things. And so I'm excited about MTSS moving forward, and there will be more to come in regards to that. Our benchmark window, our assessment window, is November the 1st to November the 8th. I know a lot of grade levels have already created their benchmark assessment. We will have the NC check-ins. And so the benchmark window is November 1st to November 8th. Once again, I'll be collecting that data from each grade level. And we will be putting it in our data tracker that you all are very familiar with, and sharing that with you throughout the year. I will need that data by grade level, our proficiency by grade level, and our proficiency by subgroup. And we'll work together to make sure that those numbers are accurate, and just kind of talk about what it is that we're looking for as we get to that point. Just a reminder, report cards go home on Friday, November 3rd. Tuesday, October 31st is a protected workday. That workday is designated for you to work on report cards. If you have not had an opportunity before then, those are the only days, protected days, that we have, those 3 throughout the year, where we prepare to make sure that our report cards go home on Friday, November 3rd, and any other time that they're due. Those 3 days are built in for that, just to make sure that we get them home on time. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the class size, House Bill 13 class size requirement. As you know, next year it's going to be even more stressful trying to find space for the classrooms as the numbers go down to 18, 16, 17, and 17 for K1, 2, and 3. But a new wrinkle that has been thrown in, and I'm not sure, what this is going to look like, if it's going to be possible. Do we get more months behind it? I don't know any of that. But our specials have to follow those same guidelines. So if there can only be 18 kindergartners in a kindergarten class, there can only be 18 kindergartners in a special. And that presents a different challenge. We'll have some grade levels that will have as many as 7 teachers based on the numbers that we have now. We'll have as many teachers as 7, but we only have, we don't have that number of specialists. And so I'm not sure if we will, get months of employment for additional specialists or what that will look like. but the traditional way of dividing, a class and kind of spreading them out across the grade level, in this model, would not work, in order for us to still be in compliance. And so, I don't know where that's going to go, but, did want to kind of put that on your radar, as that is another challenge that we'll be facing going into, next school year. And, wanted to talk to you a little bit about, ESSA, Every Student Succeeds Act, which is, another, change in legislation, just to kind of share a couple of updates, with ESSA. Some things will be a little different, moving forward. And the only thing, I'm only going to go through the things that pertain to us in elementary school. Whereas before, we had LEP students who were exempt from reading their first year of reading EOG. The first year in the United States, and they did take math, but it didn't actually count. Now, under this new ESSA mandate, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the U.S., you have to take the EOGs, reading and math. Now, the scores won't count for proficiency the first 2 years, but they'll use that initial score as a baseline. In addition, if a student has exited LEP, those students will still count in the LEP subgroup up to 4 years after they exit. And that's just a way of continuing to track their progress and make sure that they are on target. And this is a big change, for our LEP students. And, some of the things that, and this is some of the humor that, came about in our principals meeting. This is foreign language to you and I, or as far as I know, I don't think anyone knows what that says, but this is what it'll be like, to our ESL students. And so, just kind of preparing for that moving forward, and know that all kids will have to take the EOG. The next thing that we wanted to talk about is the membership rule. In the past, students who transferred into our school had to be with us for 140 days to be included in our growth calculations. Now that has been changed to 90 days. If a student is in your class or in our school 90 days prior to testing, they will count for our growth and our proficiency. And here is just a few of the figures, students transferring into a school midway through the third quarter versus midway through the second quarter, and so forth, as to whether or not they would count in our proficiency and our growth scores. One other change that we have that pertains to some other humor there. One of the other changes that we're looking at is our school performance grades. As you guys know, we get a school performance grade. We've been a B school the last 2 years. We were a B school this year, B school last year. And when the state, their calculations is 80% proficiency and 20% of it is growth, that goes into that grade. In 17-18, that will be the same. But in addition to that, each one of our subgroups within our school will get a letter grade. As you can see right here, we could be an overall B, but our Latino students could be a D, white students an A, students with disabilities an F, African American, another grade. And so it's going to be really important that when we start talking, as we continue to talk about our subgroups and growth and really moving kids, the state's taking a closer look at, really how well are we serving our subgroups to make sure that they're growing, to make sure they're moving in the right direction. And, it's just going to be really imperative that we make sure that we are strategic in our planning, making sure, again, that our instruction is relevant, that we're making connection with our kids, because it does matter, and not just for school performance grades, just because it's the right thing to do. But those students, those subgroups will be rated based on their performance and our instruction. And so I did want to kind of bring those few updates to your attention. I hope that you found them interesting, just as I did. and look forward to our next meeting, in person or virtual, whichever it may be. Thank you and have a great day.